Stuff.co breakfast.
TV on the radio with Hamish Coleman-Ross from stuff.co.nz.
In fact, it's a long time since we've spoken to Hamish as well, so there's plenty of hours and hours of TV that's been and gone. Hamish, good morning.
So much, Wammo.
There, indeed.
I've been locked away in my dungeon just watching TV. I haven't done anything else.
Oh, good.
Actually, that's a complete lie, but, you get that.
I know there is one telly show that you've also been involved with and helping put up on the screen, and that is the Nutters Club.
It is, yes. I have had a direct involvement in that. Sometimes I do these things, and I've been incredibly proud about this show. If you don't know what it is, the show is a mental health show presented by Mr. Mike King and Dr. David Kodaya, and it's basically a show where we have well-known New Zealanders come in and talk about their mental health issues and about how they sort of have gone through whatever it was, let's say depression, and how they came out on the other end. And it's quite an inspiring show to work on. I've got to say, these are not easy subjects that we're talking about, and as well as that, it's also a world first.
Yeah. So how exactly does it work? Because it's a radio show. So how does that translate to TV?
Well, what happens is that they've recorded the whole interview, and the interview would usually go for about 40 minutes or so on Radio Live, and then they've cut it down to a commercial half hour. Some people sort of think, well, if it's just talking heads, what kind of compelling TV show is it going to be? But the nature of what the people are talking about is so compelling that you are just drawn into this show.
No, Hamish, you're not telling me there's a focus on content on a TV show.
I am sorry to say, but we have bucked the trend, and it's all about the content, baby. I can't put it any other way. And I mean, the strange thing is that the show's actually done quite well after only one episode. It had modestly large, it had a modest audience on Maori TV, but it's had a hell of a lot of press. So I'm sort of keen, and of course being one-eyed because I'm involved with it, to see it grow week after week. But I know that the online views have been quite huge, and I guess when you're dealing with an issue like mental health, the potential for people to maybe not be so open-ho.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, come round, grab the beers, we'll sit down and watch Nutters Club. Well, that's not going to happen. But, I think the fact that people are accessing this from the privacy and the safety of their own home really highlights that it's a massive issue out there, and I can still say nothing but thank you very much, Carol Hirschfeld, and thank you very much, New Zealand On Air, for letting us make the show.
Now, how are Maori TV doing with on-demand? Do they provide anything on-demand?
Yes, they do. They do provide the shows online. They've actually got quite a nice wee website going on there, and I think just about every show now they chuck up online.
Okay, cool.
It's a bit different to TVNZ or TV3's on demand, but the content's certainly there. And I've got to say, some of the stuff that they're pumping out, because of the structure of their funding and everything, the level of creativity that Maori TV is able to put out is actually quite good. I mean, you watch something like Ho Mai Te Paki, which is their Marioki show that they have on Friday night, and you've got to sit there and wonder, when you see the amount of raw talent on your screen, you've got to say, how on earth did we screw up New Zealand Idol?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. It's just, you just look and go, these people are fantastic, and the show's done professionally, of course, but it's not on the same scale as New Zealand Idol, and you sort of think to yourself, did we ever need it to be?
Yeah, they're also doing.
I applaud them for some of their stuff.
Well, they're doing another version of "It's in the Bag" as well.
Yes, it's in the kitty.
Yeah,
yeah,
brilliant.
And this is fun, doesn't it? And instead of like do up my house or whatever, they have Mariah DIY.
Yeah,
and I just think it's fantastic. What New Zealand used to do really well was sort of look at what other people were doing and make a Kiwi version.
And also they're playing documentaries from overseas that the main network should be playing but aren't. But I'm glad Maori TV are playing them. Like I saw one last week called Crude about the oil industry and just about how the Earth is warming from the carbon that is being poured out from fossil fuels. And it was a fascinating journey through a carbon molecule right from prehistoric times right into the future, and it was just amazing. I think everyone should see it. It's called Crude, the documentary that they showed, and they showed it without ads. I don't know how they managed to do that.
Well, I think that the programmers at Maori TV, and of course that's the lovely Carol Hirschfeld that people will remember from Campbell Live, will remember from TV3 News, and before that might even remember from Crime Watch.
Oh yes, true.
I think she makes some pretty ballsy calls, and I'm enjoying it. I actually quite like the channel, and I must admit I was always worried that it was just all going to be in te reo with subtitles, and was like, well, I've got nothing against Maori language, but I don't want to sit and read subtitles all the time. And I've got to be honest, I actually really enjoy the channel, and I think it's
cool.
I think it's really it's proved that innovation on a free to air network level can still exist in a commercial environment, despite them having state funding, of course. But I think that they do more interesting things than any other channel. And probably I'd put Prime in a distant second. Anything
else to focus on at the moment, Hamish?
Well, we've had the new series This Is Not My Life.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't. I got to be honest. I haven't given it the time yet. Have you watched it at all?
Yeah, I watched the first double episode. Admittedly, I was quite tired, and as the person I was watching with will tell you, I was asleep for the first 45 minutes.
No, well,
but I tuned back in, and it's trying to get away from that sort of slice of Kiwi life that we've sort of seen with, let's say, Outrageous Fortune and Go Girls.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of characterise the Kiwi, and it's got a bit of a sci-fi mystery thriller element going to it. And I guess that's probably what we saw with The Cult last year. Of course, The Cult didn't do so well. This is doing better in the ratings. Not fantastic, but better. And I'm sort of wondering whether or not really, Kiwis have got the appetite for those kind of suspense, thrillery things. But it is a bit of a coming-of-age production as far as the quality of what's being produced. Already the show's had international interest for its diverse, unique storyline, but really, in my opinion, it's like a New Zealand version of The Prisoner.
Yeah, I should actually watch a whole episode to really get a good idea, but I did tune in sort of halfway through, and because it's meant to be set in the future, and I just found that their depiction of the future was so cliche, like if a cell phone was the width of a credit card. Everyone drove electric cars, but they looked like a futuristic kind of electric car. And it was just a little bit like,
Yeah, there's definitely some cringe factor there, but I've got to say that some of New Zealand's favourite, original produced dramas from the 80s. All have that cringe factor, and then 20 years down the line, where you absolutely love it and embrace it as being part of Kiwi pop culture. So, to that degree, I'm just happy to see more original content being put on. I mean, I don't know if I'm giving it a hospital pass because it's made in New Zealand, but I definitely I feel a little bit drawn towards it.
Hamish, can I highlight something that will be coming in the future? Well, hopefully to New Zealand, but it's about to start on American TV on HBO next month.
You sent me the trailer. I know what you're going to talk about.
Oh, man, it is called Boardwalk Empire. And it is a Martin Scorsese series featuring Steve Buscemi playing one of the lead characters. There's actors in there from The Wire. It's set in the early 1920s, right at the beginning of the Prohibition era.
A very young Al Capone.
Yeah, kind of. That's the mafia sort of gangs, that kind of thing going on. The costuming and the sets just look really rich and authentic, and it looks to me like a cross between Carnival, Deadwood, Sopranos, all that kind of stuff. Oh man, I just can't wait.
It does look fantastic, and the fact that Martin Scorsese is helming it for a start, sort of gives it the stamp of ultimate quality. The trailer looks fantastic. I don't think HBO have done really anything wrong with dramas, and as well as that, comedies. So just fantastic to see another amazing series produced by those people.
Yeah.
Speaking of Deadwood, do you know they're bringing it back?
No,
they are.
They aren't.
They are. One of the pay networks, I think it's Stars, is bringing back Deadwood.
Wow, because they did 3 series. And
That's right.
It kind of came to a conclusion, but it kind of didn't. I mean, it could have carried on, but it was cancelled.
As a big Deadwood fan, it didn't quite come to the conclusion I wanted.
Yeah, because they could take it from Deadwood right through to Washington, where Seth Bullock eventually becomes a politician in Washington.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing it come back, and I think it could be a very interesting series to come back. As well as that, Damages, which is a favourite show of mine, is going to be also heading towards another network. It's been picked up for another 2 seasons, but not on FX.
Great, I've got to catch up on that. That's the Glenn Close one.
Yes,
I saw the first series.
That is some of the best American drama you see. It plays on Sunday nights on TV1. They're in the 3rd season at the moment, or maybe the 2nd season. Maybe it's the 2nd season. But it is a really damn good show, and I've always had a real soft spot for it. You know, seeing Glenn Close and William Hurt have major arguments, hugely dramatic scenes, and going head to head with each other, and you have to say, God, I don't think I'd see this in anywhere else except on a pay network. And
very occasionally, sporadically, very late at night on TV1, out of the way where no one's going to watch it. Hamish, Coleman-Ross, thanks so much.
No worries, Wammo. Thanks, mate.
Hamish, CR on Twitter as well. Continue the conversation.